So,
So
good morning,
actually,
class. I am back. I am starting to record our class again today, October. We are in the middle point of our studies, and the midterm period should be used wisely. Everybody should be aware that I'm just going to some of the students. You guys have some notes about how you want to develop your class activities. So today we're going to go through some of these details about how a student may try to develop your class activities. And then we need to take a look at this with the theoretical push of how is this being done. And then the whole class can analyze some of these details. So with that said, Kanakdo, again, thank you very much for being more than an hour early today, talking about some of these things. Can you explain some of your details to the class so that everybody understands what we're about to talk about?
well, I'm afraid that it's going to satisfy the members here, but like these are the list of questions that we have asked to HR team and all Hyundai Motors and also like Hyundai Motors in Vietnam. Like for like we had like 8 questions each, and these are the lists. So, but like unfortunately, we have sent them email to HR team and Hyundai Motors in Vietnam, but we've got no message back from them. So like I was asking you if you can give us some feedback or like some answers from you. So
Absolutely. So
well, these are the proof. This is the proof that we have sent. Well,
okay,
like
great.
we have sent email to them, but like we've got no message back.
Okay, so we have 8 questions here that people that want to get a job at Hyundai are contacting the company. So let's go through this and analyze what is important with this project, with what we're doing to note. So Min-Soo Kim, I see that you're here. Would you be able to just make a comment about what you see and what's going on? Make sure the whole class understands what we're talking about. Min-Soo Kim, can you summarize what you see is happening?
So he's talking about the questions that they prepared for the HR team of the company, right? For the interview.
Yes, can you go into a little bit more detail? What do you see? How do you think, even if you are not part of this group, even if you are not part of this class, you know that there's executives in Hyundai, a famous company, getting an email, and you see the words here. So how are these words going to be received?
I didn't fully understand, like what
Right,
they can improve,
that's
or
normal.
is how they can improve, or
No, so
Yeah.
imagine you are working at Hyundai in Vietnam and you receive this email.
I believe
Right.
these are only the interview questions, not the email, right? Because I think before sending the questions, they would need to have a little bit of explanation regarding what they're studying.
Okay, this is a very good point.
Oh,
So,
okay, now we just got a key point, because everybody in class, pay attention to what I'm getting excited about. I just heard the keyword studying, and I started to go, why would I be going crazy with that word studying when you are trying to get a job in Hyundai and you're sending information to a worker in the company? How about Shiraz? Any comments from you?
No, Professor.
I was too cringe. What I want is I want you all to realize that SRC is very important, and we haven't talked about SRC very much in this class, but SRC stands for Self-Reliance Criterion. Everybody is a kidnap victim. You're being held hostage in a bad environment, and that environment is your own brain. Because you know what you know, you are cursed. And you probably don't understand what I'm saying. I'm using this as a joke to see if you guys can start understanding what my point is. You know what you know, but that's not important. What is important is what? What is most important in Hyunhak Do and Gunsu Kim's communications right now? And I'll give you a hint. Minsu Kim, she said studying. And as soon as she says studying, I was like, whoa, no.
The structure of the email, like greetings, body, like.
Well,
Maybe.
but it's not the full context of email. Like we have just summarized it with only like questions. Like of course we have like you know what, respectfully like asking for the request. I mean like I was kindly asking for like I have like typed everything that is needed for sending emails, like who we are and what we are doing and why we actually send this email.
Good. Tell me, who are you? Who do you tell? Pretend that I am Mr. Hyundai, and now tell me who you are.
Well, I have just typed like I am Hyunhak Do, and like our group is Hyunhak Do and Konsu Kim, actually working on like I mean studying human resource management, and we were actually like
I didn't hear that. I am Hyundai. This is my phone. I'm already going to hang up.
Yeah, like
why am I going to hang up now?
We talk too much about.
We talk about what?
We talk too much about who we are. I think they only want to know the main points.
I think it was when you mentioned about students shouldn't say they're students, because
there we go. Okay, good. Both of you are correct. You must understand what is valuable to the other person. If you guys want to get a job, it doesn't really matter what's in your mind. The only thing that matters is the person that might be able to give you a job, or the person that might be able to help you. And so what are you giving to them? If you tell them that you're just a student, let's think what is in the mind of a 50-year-old guy working in Hyundai. How much does he want to talk to somebody studying? How much does he want to talk to some student? Click, right?
Yes.
You need to think what is in the other person's mind. For example, we all know Alonzo Guzman and Bonnie Nam and Linda Lee. Those are successful company executives already, and they're working in a company like, I don't know, 300,000 other people. Most people that are working in Samsung or in Hyundai, they only care about what? What do they care about? What are they focused on?
Time.
Time? Maybe. As many years go by, then they will get promotions and more pay. What else?
money, having
They're
achieving
interested in
the
money,
goal
yes.
of the month, or maybe.
They're supposed to be focused on company money, how they can make the company more successful. Absolutely, that's important. Anything else? Let me try to just show you. So the first question we have here is, Hyundai HR Team Aging Society, Hyundai reacts from this issue. As the aging society has been a world issue, it is inevitable that the company also confronts the aging problems in the company, in and outside. Blah, blah, blah. What person in Hyundai benefits from this topic? What person in Hyundai will get a promotion or have their manager come and say, good job, you're doing this from this note? That's what we need to be thinking about. We need to focus on the other person must get some sort of benefit. We must try to focus on mutual benefit. So if I show you just for a second my screen, I'm going to, you guys are aware of these details here. This idea of our class project. So everybody understands, everybody is doing a term paper, and that's usually it. Most students only focus on doing the term paper because at the end of the class, they're going to have an A or a B, and then they walk away and they forget about it. How many students have honestly thought about providing some solutions to a local company? Probably very, very few. And then the harder question, how many students have thought about getting money or getting a grant from a big multinational company? Almost nobody. So that's my point. When you are interacting with the person in Hyundai, that person, he may value consulting ideas, solutions for marketing or solutions for finance or accounting or management, whatever it may be. So a solution for management, good. Just talking to a student, they don't think that way. They won't see a value in that. So they will probably want to hang up as soon as possible. What we see with this green line is a cultural difference. The students or millennials might not have the work experience or the focus on just satisfying their boss, satisfying their supervisor. So we need to pay attention to that. And if we go down a little bit, this is the reality that every student faces, but not too many students actually do anything about. Every student in our class, you want to get a job someday. So what are you doing to try to get the job other than just graduating like millions and millions of other students? If you just wait and graduate, if you just wait for Hyundai to put up a sign saying we are interviewing, as we've discussed in class, there's a very strong chance that that guy that's going to hire, he already knows who he wants to hire. He just has to go through the policy of making a job public advertisement and pretend to look around at the world at other people. But maybe at the back of his mind, he already has some relationship with somebody that he wants to hire. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying that's a very strong possibility. And so what have you done to create that relationship? You can use the class activities, but by saying class, you should understand the person giving the job doesn't care about a class. By saying the word studying, that person working in Hyundai doesn't care about studying. He's already finished. He's now only focused on identifying what his boss wants. He has to give his boss something for him to look good. And so this bottom picture talks about your goals, and the other people's goals is what you should be thinking quite a bit about. If you're down here focused on studying as a young student, you might not have the skills, you might not have the experiences with the activities to help somebody that's at a much higher level. That's the typical idea. So I want to ask you again, how can you do the same thing that Hyanak Do is trying to do, but say different words? What are some words that a guy that's higher on this ladder of life, the career ladder, trying to get success within Hyundai? What do they want?
Well, actually, it will depend on their position and their specific place in the company. So, as you said,
Right?
they may be, if they are into sales or marketing, they may use some fresh view from the outside regarding some issues, or if you are collaborating with a group of students from different countries, maybe you can make a share. You can make a document with more. I mean, pointing out some differences from one country to another that might be useful for them. But let me ask you, with this idea, you wanted to send information, to send questions to what kind of people? To the people in the human resources, or in what department?
That's a good point. What
Because,
I'm trying to describe,
no, one
so
moment, if you allow me. Sorry. So the point is, so it depends also. So if you send the information to Vietnam, and if the questions that you made are somehow related to a production environment, okay, they may not be relevant if they don't have a factory in Vietnam. So from what I'm seeing on their international website, they don't have a factory in Vietnam. I'm not aware if what is the reality. Maybe you know better, Professor. So people from the Vietnam office, they may not be able to reply to questions related to production environment.
right now we're talking about very, very detailed
Yes, you're right.
information. And so if we step back a little bit, we don't know if the person's an engineer. We don't know if the person's in HR. We don't know if the person is a vice president of finance. But we do know they are working and they have to do their job for their boss, period. And you know that they probably will not care or get excited about talking to a student, because in their mind, a student is somebody that is young. A student is somebody with not very much experience. That can be translated. I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm just saying that worker may stereotype you as not being valuable to them. So I'm asking everybody in class again, how can you appear to be valuable? And obviously you don't say student, you don't say studying. What are some synonyms? What are some ways to say the same thing that is of value to any worker at any level, whether they're an engineer or HR or finance or management? What are we all doing in our class right now? Go ahead.
Majoring in
Majoring?
international business.
If I was working in Hyundai, I wouldn't care about major. I never thought about major ever since I graduated from university. Good guess, though. Thank you. What's another guess?
A government official?
Okay, if you say that you are a government official, especially in Vietnam, everybody must kiss your bum. Everybody must like say, oh, yes, whatever you like, sir, I will help you. You know, so that is a good joke. You say something that will be important to your target. And you know, every worker in Vietnam, they have to do anything a government officer usually says. But unfortunately, we can't say that we are a government officer. What can we say? Who are you? What are you guys doing? Shiraz, what is your project doing? Give me 2 words to describe how you manage in our class. What are we doing? Juyong Lee, Shiraz, Kyunggong Jung. Give me a couple of words. What What job do you have when you're together with me? And your job, first of all, is not to make time last longer and make me get older. Time is money. Come on, quickly. Minsu Kim, you have started earlier and you were starting to help. Can you give any other ideas? What is a job you are doing with our group, but you're not allowed to say studying, you're not allowed to say major, you're not allowed to say student. So tell me.
I think the only word that I can remember, I mentioned before, it's the research, wasn't it?
Good. Okay, so you're doing research, but do business people usually care about research? How can you make research sound attractive to a Hyundai executive?
What about by implying that Hyundai Motors have some problems or like issues?
Oh, now you're trying to insult me. I'm going to hang up even faster if you insult me.
Oh, then not.
If you talk about solutions, then I will listen. What's that called? Haven't you heard of the word consulting? You guys are part of a group of about 30 different people, consulting organizations, and you have world famous guys, PhDs, MBAs are in your consulting group, and you're helping companies develop. Isn't that what you're doing right now? Isn't that the same way of saying you're a student studying a company? You're making a research paper, but the paper doesn't have to be for me. From the very first day, I was telling you that your papers for class should be consulting reports or research papers for the company you want to work for. So if you say that you're a consultant with a bunch of other consultants, like a team of them, and we're all willing to help this Hyundai executive find more solutions, that may interest them. Understand? That is of value to almost any worker in a company. There's a whole bunch of people that can work for them. If you just say that you're a student researching something, they might, it's the same idea, but completely different view, completely different values. You need to understand what is the value of the person you're trying to impress, your boss, or if you have staff, your staff. What do they care about? Most students only focus on getting an A+ in class, or I want a 99% average. So you need to get beyond that because that is a bad habit. You need to start thinking of mutual benefit. The people in the companies, what do they want? If they can get a free consulting report, great. They might be able to give it to their boss. If they can get a free consulting group of experts to help them do their job, that should be very valuable to them because it's easier for them to do their job. So use all class activities, not just our class, any class you're studying. Realize that if you're just studying it to get your A+ and graduate, it's not really going to help. Most people don't care about your grade when you're working in the working world. They care about how to get results. So form your classwork as an excuse to help somebody in a company and start a relationship with them. And so if we look down at the bottom again, so if you are at the bottom as a student without many skills and without that many activities, and you're trying to talk to this big guy that's farther up on the stairway, what would they value? They would value getting a team of people that can work for him, getting a team of people that can provide more consulting advice or solutions or creativity. By using those words, then you can connect with them. So now we get back to Hyanakdo. In your email, when you introduced yourself, Did you say that you were developing a consulting report, or did you say that you were a student doing anything? Because as soon as you say student, or you're just part of a university group, they may not see any connection or benefit. They will probably hang up.
Well,
That-
I actually have said, yes. Well, I actually have said that like we were working on like, I am a student, of course I said like that. And I have just like introduced myself and introduced about this email that like our group is actually working on the term paper, I mean, which is gonna be a report which is about like Hyundai Motors, HRM.
Okay, just a second for a pause. You get benefit. You are talking about you. You are making yourself look good. Let's go back to the main question. What is the benefit they get?
The first, with our point was relationship between Hyundai Motors and aging society problem. So by giving them our ideas about aging society and Hyundai at the corporate system, so I think they would get the benefits from our thinkings. So that's why we emailed them, and we thought this is also win-win for both.
Gunsu Kim, you're a good student. You have worked a lot. You've sent me many things, and almost every class you've always tried to say something. Can you see my face? I am supposed to be paid to help you. And I don't care about the aging society. You're writing the paper for me, and I'm supposed to be excited, but I don't care. And so do you, I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just showing you reality. Look at the reality. The Hyundai worker, does he care? You care about aging something because you saw an article and that was interesting to you. So you're interested in it, and that's nice. It's inside your mind. But forget your mind. You must guess what is in the mind, or more importantly, what's in the heart of the person you want to interact with. What mutual benefit will they want? So whether it's a vice president or somebody in HR or somebody just in engineering, how many people really care about aging details? It's nice to talk about at a party if you don't have anything else. If there's no sports to talk about, if we can't make jokes about Donald Trump, sure, we can talk about aging societies. But if you can try to guess one thing that they will care about or they can use to get benefit with their boss, then they will listen a lot more. They will really care. So you guys have, I'm going to give you perfect marks for trying, knowing that they're probably not going to answer you. You're probably not going to get anybody replying to you because that's life. But everybody else in class, Minsu Kim, if you tell anybody that you were a student, I'm going to like kick you. Same thing with Juang Lee and Kyunggong Jung and Shiraz. When you try to interact with the company, you need to speak their words. So, Mr. Jung, Kyunggong Jung, when you try to contact the company, what is a possible email or phone sentence you could use?
Possible email. Oh.
Everybody in class, don't just wait for Mr. Jung to talk. Everybody jump in. Maybe not Minsu Kim, her mouth is full right now, but everybody else in class. What is a couple of words you could say to introduce yourself where they won't hang up?
Specialist.
Good. Yes, you're a specialist. And whether you like it or not, maybe I'm a terrible teacher, but you could say that I am working with you. And so I definitely am a specialist. I have the three different MBAs and a PhD, and I'm working on your project also. So tell me, I can help you develop details to help this other guy. So think about those things. Great. What about Shiraz? Are you still here? What do you think? Oh, maybe Shiraz is not here anymore. Who's another person? What about Young Lee? Young Lee not here either? People, because I'm
No,
not giving you guys enough mutual benefit.
I'm
Um,
here. To be honest, I don't know about it. How
young
to?
millennial, being a young person, you have to have more creativity than the older people. That's one of the reasons why you're valuable. So in Korea, a lot of people will worry about making a suggestion if it's not perfect, but you should also understand that the biggest value you have is coming up with new creative ideas. So say anything. I already told everybody in class that Kenak Do and Gunsu Kim, even though they did not accomplish what they wanted a reply from Hyundai. They didn't get any replies. I'm going to give them full marks for trying because they learned in this attempt. So the next time they try to contact somebody, they will be able to better speak their language. This whole topic of career development, that's what you need to think about. Don't only focus on your own career, especially in Asia where loyalty is very important. You must think, what do you want and what does somebody else want and what's of mutual benefit? And focus just on these things. Talk about them. This idea about being a student, most people don't care about. The idea of doing research or my major, most people don't care about. And so you can say you're a researcher, you can say you're a consultant. Those things help you get up the career ladder so that you're of benefit to other people. Does that make sense? All right.
Okay.
Ali, you had a couple of things. Did I see Ali? Did you want to say something, or you want me to get back into the regular presentations? What I want to try to focus on today is personally helping you guys. Forget about class. Try to think about yourself. This actually is part of a 2-week period. I understand the university officially has 2 weeks for midterms. And so I think we're not officially supposed to have a class. I'm going to be available. If you guys want to ask any questions, you can contact me anytime. If you want to hang up on me, you can hang up on me. But I'm trying to help you benefit from the class so you get benefit. And by what that means is, for you to get benefit, you must not talk about benefit for you. You must talk about benefit for somebody else. So identify who is the person that you value, what do they value. So what could you do? You need to go through their website, go through their job advertisements, go through any keywords associated with them, pick out those keywords and use those keywords in your communication. So speak the same language. Minsu Kim, can you tell us about the your research project and which company are you focused on?
So my group are focusing on the composition structure of Samsung. So we are almost finalizing the email to send to Boninam, because remember Boninam also said that we could have a call regarding the topic of our presentation. So we thought that rather than a full email, we believe that a talk would be more comfortable. But we're still because the information that we are trying to find is not public, and we are trying to come up with a way to ask Boninam to if he could share like the information that he has.
What I'm hearing is you're using many words to basically try to get something of value from Bonnie. That's the
Yeah.
same thing that Do is doing. So you want something from him. Now tell me, what can you give him? What is attractive in Bonnie's mind? What is some possible mutual benefit? What's that smile for? I'm talking about business now.
I'm not
Same
really
thing.
sure what would be beneficial for them, because we're just trying to evaluate the the current compensation structure. But I don't know if the findings of our research could be beneficial to them. Like, depending on the data, we thought that we would be able to make some kind of evaluation on how they could improve on their system. But I was a little bit, I forgot the word, reluctant to think that we could say help, like give some suggestions to them, because we're only barely university students, and Boninam and the others, they have worked so long in a company, so it would be a little bit hard for us to give a suggestion on how to improve a multinational company structure or benefits.
You guys remember when we first introduced these guys, we had a professor from Denmark, we had 3 different executives from Samsung. One of the first things I did, even before you met them, is I gave you guys their resumes. And so if you look through their resumes, here's a big hint. Bonnie he studied with Harvard. And you know that, yes, currently he's focused on researching compensation, but he has a connection with Harvard. And so one of the things that we've always talked about is you need to reference details. And one of the very valuable sources of information is Harvard. Harvard Business Review is a pretty good journal. But usually you have to pay a lot of money to access the Harvard Business Review. So for Bonnie to read it, he has to pay maybe $50 for each story to read it. How much do you have to pay, Ms. Kip? 0, because the university gives it to you for free. So any Harvard Business Review articles, just because it's from the same university as Harvard, as Bonnie, he may be interested in. If it is an article from Harvard about compensation, he might think, wow, this is really cool. Not only is it my job, but it's going to make me look good too if I give it to my boss. The more anybody talks about Harvard, the more Bonnie's going to feel powerful because he has that connection. So just sharing any articles from Harvard to Bonnie should make him feel good. And he might want to hear that from you or see that information from you. If you have something about his interest, like compensation, then he's going to be even more happy to talk with you. If you have, for example, 3 different articles, all suggesting a new and interesting compensation structure is, I don't know, doing a hula hoop, who knows, and you tell that to him, then he will be very glad, appreciative that you've shown him some new possible idea to consider. And then after you start getting his attention and you go through something that is of value to him, then you can ask more of the plain questions that are mostly of benefit to you. So maybe say something, ask a question, but it's not really a question. It's using your communication to give him something to attract his attention. And after you have his attention, then you start giving communications that you get benefit from. So Hyanak Do, you guys started talking about what you want, but nothing about what the other person wants. Minsu Kim, for example, she's about to send an email and she can guess now that he's interested in details about compensation. That's his idea, his words. And by checking his CV, you saw he has a connection to Harvard. So that's another way you can have a connection with them. of mutual benefit. Kyunggang Jung, what is your research area and which company are you interested in trying to get in touch with? Shraz, same thing for you.
As I have explained the previous class with you, our group is focusing on Kakao's the HR system about the work and life balance and the salary systems, and we are
So
searching.
what can you give anybody in Kakao that they may appreciate, they may get benefit from? What can you have that they may think is attractive or interesting?
The best solution that I can provide based on the facts.
Again, I love all of you students, but in most Korean people's minds, students, what is their value? Somebody that is already working at Hyundai, somebody who's already working in Samsung, somebody already in Kakao. What is a worker associating with a student? Young, maybe they drink a lot of soju, they party a lot, they play a lot. What is in their mind? So you need to realize your stereotype and then present yourself in a way that is attractive to them. So what would Kakao workers value? Jung Lee, or if Shraz is still around, any of the other students, if you're still there. Oh, looks like the class is getting much smaller already. As soon as I said that it's not an official week, people are dropping the class. Do you get my point? What about grants? Let's go back to that first main picture I was talking to you about. There's the local company, and the local company is Kakao. The local company is Hyundai. The local company is Samsung. But don't forget, I also told you about the global multinational company. How can you talk about that? Why should a worker care? Why should you care?
Professor, could I ask a brief question?
Sure.
Because you mentioned about the Harvard Business Review,
Mhm.
but I remember that a few times ago I tried to access the website and it says that our university doesn't have connection with them, so I have to pay for subscription. And even when I'm looking at the,
I can help. Ooh, I'll get you in.
okay, thank you. Because I have found like there are some articles from there, but every time I try to access, it says it's blocked. And even in our university library, I couldn't find it. But when you mentioned that we have access, I got wondering about whether if I really could access. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think you guys can see my screen now, correct? And where is it here? Oh, it's not really showing it. This is the Google Drive folder. It's basically the very first link I gave any students. This is where I said your class, all of your class information is here, and there's a folder for student optional reference info. If you go into here, there's various articles. In these various articles, can you read this? Can you see this, Minsu Kim? What I'm pointing to with my mouse?
Compensation articles.
If we click on that, 12 gigabytes of information, and if I just open these a little bit, you can see all of these articles are articles about compensation. And I think almost all of these, as they're slowly going to be going up, they're all from the Harvard Business Review. So I've already done a lot of the work for you. These are all articles from Harvard Business Review talking about compensation. So every single one of these may be worth $50 to read for Bonnie, but our university, they do allow us access. It's a difficult way to get access, but I have found it. And so I have already downloaded several articles about compensation, specifically from, as you can see here, Harvard Business Review. So if we pick up any one of these, how to tailor your incentive compensation to strategy, somewhere down at the bottom, it should say it's from Harvard Business Review. The internet's going sort of too slow, sorry. Well, you can see here, the bottom of the page, it says this is from oops, Harvard Business Review, May to June of 1972. So it's an article from 1970. Maybe that's when Bonnie was born. But they're talking about it, and there's many different articles here. So this is just an example of one that you can go through. Obviously, there's newer ones that are. This one is from 2013. So every one of you can talk about, yeah, this. Actually, this is from Harvard Business Review 2015, and it's talking about the right way to use compensation. Isn't this exactly what Bonnie Nam was looking for? He was trying to find what is the right way to compensate salespeople all around the world, because just giving commissions cheats the customer. The customer is going to be sold something that's more expensive than what they really need. And so this is basically the jackpot of what Bonnie is looking for. And it's only 5 years old. Not too bad. And it's connected to his university. So you can use this article alone to impress Bonnie and start talking about something he's going to get excited about. After he gets excited, then you should be able to get a lot of information that helps you. So now, again, I want to make sure everybody's aware. These are compensation articles. You tell me what you're focused on. I will help you develop for yourself, not just class. If we go to the various articles, cases, videos, that's the bigger folder. There's many different details in here. There's Hyundai files. Did Kanakdo, did you go through these Hyundai files? And more human resource management files. There's a bunch of information, more files in the HRM class and old students' papers. So if we go through those, again, all of those, this is the file link that every student was given at the beginning. And it shows, here's HRM, everything for our class is in here. And this is the student optional reference information. So many articles from students last year and the year before are already in here. So you can look through here to find things to help. And I've definitely got Hyundai articles, Samsung articles, compensation articles, trying to help you guys. With that said, I talk too much. Maybe I should let you guys go since it's officially midterm time. Maybe you guys want to keep studying for your other midterms. The only requirement for our class is that you guys try to just develop yourself. Forget me, forget the class activity, but use the class term paper as an excuse to contact somebody. Now let's back up a little bit. Bonnie is a pretty high level executive. Is he the type of person you want to talk to first? Well, for Bonnie, yes, because he's already volunteered to be our teacher. He will talk to us anytime. But most workers, especially if they're high level, they might not. And you need to talk his language. You need to talk his values. So you should be talking with the parking lot guy, the parking lot manager first, then talk to the night security guy. After you learn from them, then you can talk to the front doorman. After you learn from the front doorman, or if you screw up, no problem, you can still go to the receptionist and learn from the keywords you learn from the night doorman or the parking lot guy. Learn some details that are valuable to them. So when you are talking to the receptionist, you are interesting to them and learn more from them, so that when you start talking to an alumni from Keimyung University, basically has to talk to you. You're prepared and you impress them more, so they're more interested in helping introduce you or give you words that a manager or a director really value. So I hope that's sort of clear. I used too many words. I was saying, don't directly go to the top level guy and introduce yourself wrong. Don't go to the top level guy and introduce yourself without knowing what they care about, without knowing their words, without knowing their keywords and values. Try to dig through some lower level people. You do not have to do it for class. I'm telling you how to get a job. If you want a job there, start at the lowest levels to find what the valuable people care about. Learn their words, because whatever the president is talking about, maybe the parking lot manager is going to understand some of those details. So use those keywords to raise yourself to the next level and the next level and the next level. Keep going up the chain. And when we're talking about grants, by saying that you may be able to get a $300,000 grant to hire specialists around the world to help your guy, that should be magical. That should be almost unbelievable. So you don't have to do it for class, but if you know how a grant works, then anybody working in a company should be in love with you, because you can get hundreds of thousands of dollars to help that company expand. You can help them develop. You can hire people from around the world. That's the reason we're talking about it. Again, that's this information here, and it's going back to, oops, went, okay, yeah. So that whole idea for here. The only other thing that I wanted to talk about is inside our class, we're also, I understand you are interested in marks. You guys are interested in just graduating, finishing this class, moving on to the next level. And so most of you just want marks. And I think some of you are forgetting that I will give marks anytime you share an article. And I'm not doing it because I care about the article. As you just saw, I already, I read this stuff anyway. I'm trying to give you marks to motivate you to start sharing good stuff. If you go up to Bonnie and show him your article, then you're going to be attractive and it's going to help you. So practice showing it to me. Don't just find any article from 1972. Find the article that's from last year or 2 years ago that's exactly what they're interested in. And just by going through and identifying these small things, by presenting an article every class, you're going to get better and better at it. You're going to see that your classmates don't care about some things, but your classmates will care about other things. So do that. I will give you marks because you develop your own skills. Same thing with the grants. Some of you haven't talked too much about grants. Pianakdo, you, I think, said that you were going to talk about grants today also. What are your activities with your grant?
Wait, Professor, can you just wait for a second? Like I'm gonna show you the grants that we have made.
Great, go ahead. And by you showing me that you're doing something with a grant, make sure you remember that although Ali has been doing a lot of work to help you guys, she has recorded your good activities. It's not her job. You guys need to identify how you are helping the class and give yourself points. We keep notes so that it's fair and proper with the university, but in a company, you do something of value and then you should be able to negotiate to get benefit from that. So whenever Gunsu Kim and Hyunak Do shares your screen about your grant, that's extra points for you guys. First thing, if this is for grant and the first name of the grant person is Gunsu Kim, wow, Gunsu Kim, how are you better than 1,000 other people asking me for lots of money? Gunsu Kim, let's say I am also applying for grants. there's about 20 other people that are using my name to apply for grants. So their grant application says, Dr. Watts, how are you more attractive than me? And don't talk about how you're fit and I'm old and wrinkly and gray hair. Talk about how you're more reliable to the company to give the grant away than maybe, do you know the dean of a program? Do you know who is the head of community involvement of Keimyung University? Do you know the president of Keimyung University? Any of those people are obviously very valuable and have a very impressive CV, resume. If you can get those people to agree to work with you, you can use their name on the grant contact details. I have shared a couple of files. The PPT file talks about how you go through a grant application. And I also gave basically 50 pages of details about grants. And you can see a grant that I used in the first name of one of my grants. It is not my name. So the email says to Dr. Watts at gmail.com, but the first name is to actually the vice president of the university. It's not even my name. Even though I'm a professor, I use some higher level professor on the name tag because the grant manager is only going to check one or two people or one or two details. Understand? So you use a professor's name or an advisor's name or your mom's name, dad's name, whoever has the most impressive resume, apply for it through them and you can do the work for them. Sorry, go ahead. Keep talking, Gunsu Kim. What else would you like to say? I can't hear you.
Oh, you said the higher ranks of the people who involved in this organization. So yeah, it's better to use the Keimyung University vice president name on the first. Yeah.
Yes. The highest, whoever has the more impressive resume, whoever looks the best to the grant manager, right? Again, you have to remember what is the value of the other person. When we're doing a grant, that valuable person is the grant manager. Maybe he's just a regular Joe Blow trying to give away millions of dollars through Bill Gates, but still Joe Blow has to do his job and find somebody that's not going to embarrass him and definitely somebody that's not going to embarrass Bill Gates. So he's looking for who is reliable, who is good to give money to. And a student, he might not care too much about. He likes to give money to students, but he doesn't know you, he doesn't trust you. So try to give a higher level person's name. Now, you are trying to, the next part is describe your organization in 100 words. Now, I'm not going to read your sentence here, but tell me, what are 2 or 3 words that should impress the grant manager, Joe Blow, about your organization?
First,
what does the grant manager care about? Because there's millions of universities in the world. How is this one better than another university? Or how is this one better than some competitor or some drunk guy on the street?
I put the statement from the Keimyung website, which is the leading university of education innovation opens up to the region and the world. Those sentences I put. And
okay, good. By saying you're the premier private university, great. That is good. That makes you better than any other universities around. And by saying you're the leading university in innovation, that also is good. But I don't believe you. When you say that, I see there's 2 other items here that are colored blue. If I click on those blue colors, I'm going to get a lot more information. An email is going to open up, or a website is going to open up. If you get the story or the website that you're referencing for leading university, and if you embed that here, they can click on it and they have proof that what you're saying is true. If they have proof of what you say, you're a million times more credible, million times more trustworthy. If you just say it without a reference, you could just be any drunk guy talking about anything, right?
Yep.
So again, in our class, reference, reference, reference. That's just one example. So what is the, every student in class should be doing this. How do you want to make the world a better place? What is the purpose of your grant?
My purpose of the grant.
Sure. Why should the grant manager care?
That's the thing that we already discussed. But you said that it's not mutually beneficial, but it's I'm talking about what I want from the company. So I think I should fix those problems.
Yes, change it.
Yep.
Can anybody else help modify details? What can any student say is the purpose of your grant that would attract the grant manager's interest? You're not asking for a job right now. You're asking for anything, but just like we talked about with Hyundai and Samsung and Kakao, if you only think in your mind, they're not going to care. You need to think, what is of mutual benefit to the other person? So what could you look at? Any other ideas? Go ahead. Oops, I'm trying to show one of these files. Hopefully you guys can, yes, here we go. So this is the PPT I gave you guys at the beginning of class, talking about how to write grants in intro summary. If you go through it, you can see I have given you the websites to find out about grants, and this is the background of the Ford Foundation. It's showing you their purpose of their grants, the program areas, what they're interested in, and it shows the fields they work with. So as long as you are working with any of these topics, these are keywords. You can use these keywords, copy these, and maybe put them in your application. Make sure they're very valuable. You're only allowed to use 100 words. So use their words here, use their words. You know, their purpose is stated right here. So if you can make your grant using the word from them, you will have much higher success. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about career development. That's about it. Anybody have questions? Anybody want me to help you identify how to get more grants or how to use a grant, how to find grants? If not, the very last thing is the students' work is not just papers. I also give you marks each week for presenting details. Kanakdo, you definitely need to identify in the Excel file, you get certain points for this. Minsu Kim, you've talked quite a bit. You should get some points for talking. Anybody else sharing details, you should be able to get points for that. But you also get up to 2 points each week for going through quiz questions. And some students have been skipping the quiz questions. So I'm going to be coming back, and next week, I will be giving you quiz questions for the first part of the term if students didn't ask clearly or give you points for that. And so from chapter 1, 2, 3, as we went through the book, I will be coming up with a couple of questions. They should be easy. They should be important things. And start thinking about whatever was your weekly topic. What was a reasonable question that everybody should know the answer to about your topic, and that can be our quiz question. And each student can get 2 points for that. And even though you've finished your weekly activity, you can still help the class and get more points for that. Be more proactive. Any questions? Ali, did you have something to say? I heard somebody just talk. Who is that?
Mingsu, it was Mingsu.
Okay, go ahead, Minsu.
So our group, me, Maurice, and Felix, we are presenting next week for topic 6, performance management system, on Wednesday, on November 4th. I was wondering, we are almost finalizing the preparation of the presentation with the, I think it was 3 questions for the quiz with multiple choices, right? That we have to prepare for regarding our topic.
That is reasonable, yes. And you should have all of your files except the answers. They should be in a Google Drive folder, and you can share that link with me and everybody in the class. But your quiz answers, the quiz question, quiz answers, make sure you get my approval in advance.
So can we send the file within this week to your email with all the files before uploading on the Excel file?
Your Google folder, Google Drive folder of your PPT, of whatever you're going to present, and possible questions, you can have that open to everybody in class. Just the answers should not be in that folder. The answers should be just secret. And
so the quiz question can be available before the class. I thought it would be.
That's okay. I am very generous. I'll give people marks, no problem. I'm not trying to surprise anybody. I'm just trying to get you guys to identify what is important and make sure people learn it, period. And so if you give them, I usually say people should share that more than 1 week in advance, so people have a week to keep thinking about it and being reminded. I'm going through the HRM schedule, and I see Minsu Kim. Felix, you had something for the 3rd week. You introduced your project. Great. And I'm still just going through it. For HRM, yes.
Because I can't see in the screen. Because yesterday we changed a little bit on Excel file. We put down our names and date of our presentation, but I see that it's
Was
not
that in the student? Because we have several different files, on purpose it's confusing because the real world is confusing. You need to get practice going through that. As long as you can show me where you have it, great. I am using just one of the files. There's also the class attendance file that shows student contributions, and there's a different file showing that Ali has developed with the student contributions. So I'm not sure where you put that link. As long as you can show that, great. What I'm showing you now for everybody in the class is, can you guys still see this? Can you see my screen?
No, it stopped sharing.
I have just finished update your points up to week 7. So you should go to student contributions and see what is your point, and give me any feedback or any comment to make sure that up to week 7, all of your contributions is already recorded.
So in the HRM weekly evaluations, this is what Ali was just talking about. Yeah. And so if somebody was active in class, we have made notes, but it shouldn't be us. It should be you guys making notes. And even better, if you guys embed a link to show the article that you've shared or show your Google folder that you've talked about, that's where you get these marks from. And so for in here, is this where you have some of your details, Minsu?
no, was on the same page that you were on the first page for HRM. Oh,
Attendance?
that one. Yeah, because right on the file, that one for below next to the performance management system, we wrote down our names yesterday, our names and the date and the time of our presentation. And
Okay.
on the attendance list, I also updated my cutoff ID and the time of the presentation as well on that file.
Great. Yeah, so I probably have an older file. As long as you can show in next class, you know, you've saved a copy of this, so you can show your details. Whenever you can show that, you have support, you can push me out of the way and start presenting, and you are entitled to those marks. I can negotiate, I will argue and say that, no, you don't deserve that much, because that's the practice. You need to be ready to argue and try to show you deserve as many marks as you want, right? All right, folks, thanks. Class is finished. You guys get the point. Work in mutual benefit with each other. By sharing this information with each other, you can give each other suggestions on how to get benefit when you're talking to the companies, when you're developing your term papers. Some people thought at the beginning of the class, it's going to be very hard to write a term paper. It's very hard to find 10 different references, but you can now see any one of your classmates that shows a paper you can use. I just showed you, I don't know, 50 different articles on compensation, and anybody in our class can use those. You can talk about compensation globally, even when you're talking to the Hyundai guys in Vietnam. So you develop your paper just by watching your classmates. It shouldn't be very hard. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Professor. Have a good day.
Have a good day.